Hello everyone, how you doing today? I'll show you a few things and then get busy on this mech again. Try to get another part of it done. Start with, I did get this Plutus M1 miner out to the workshop. Used it quite a bit in game. Um, I'm happy with it. It mines, it can process a little stuff on the way, it can defend itself from drone attacks, it can zip and run around, carry a lot of stuff, and stay out for a long time. All the things I wanted it to do, it seems to do. So can't complain. So that one is up on the workshop as of Saturday. Now I've been putting most of my time and effort into this great big CV carrier. Not as big as the MCR and Leviathan, but it is big. Um, what I've been focusing on is actually kind of building out these CV docking bays below the deck on it. And I was trying to work out exactly how I want things to dock. Like right now, my present idea is, and I have to build a test CV to try it out to see how easy it is to actually dock to this, but I wanted to have the landing gear on these kinds of CVs that would mount up to this wall here, and then it would kind of like sit right in here, and then you've got access to get in and out of the CVs right from the center of the ship. Um, so as in the ship, I did do some other modifications here and there. Obviously, I built out these new column pieces here. Now I did do some copying and pasting, and the ones that I copied and pasted, I got a lot of texture misalignments and stuff, so I got to clean up the other bays besides bay 2 over there. But since they're uniform, I was able to like basically do one and copy it 4 times on that. Um, Now where I'm perplexed a little bit, and I got to come up with a good solution, and I think I got a course to take now, is I'm struggling to figure out a nice looking way to add a bridge to this ship. Now, with ships like this in the past, I would typically have the bridge somewhere on the top side, maybe on some kind of like building or structure that's on the top of this somewhere. But on this one, I don't want that building. I want to keep that flight deck completely open for CV's docking on it. So in comments, it was suggested to have like a cockpit or a bridge that where you could like look down and see everything nicely, and that's what I attempted here. And I actually like the insides of it. I think that works out just fine. What I don't like is how it looks from the outside. I think that looks kind of strange what I got going on there. So it was suggested that maybe I try to go into like ASIM and maybe put like some kind of like cockpit bridge kind of thing on one side or the other, and then do some other little ASIM things to this ship to try to dial that in and whatnot. But I do like the idea of seeing forward and seeing down when you're flying the thing. So I'm going to try to keep that function because I think it's a good function and it helps you to see what you're doing. And I mean, landing something like this on a planet's surface is going to be challenging, I would say, because of its size. It's really big, and to park this on a flat enough area would be difficult. I'm almost thinking, I don't know how far it would sink in the water, but actually, if you had a planet with water, maybe that's a better plan, but maybe not. Um, anyway, I'll keep slugging away at that. Um, One last thing, next release I'm planning on putting to the workshop is probably going to be this Kriel-Interfector. I use this in game. I've taken out ground POI bases, including like a drone base with it. I've taken out some ships in space with it, like nullifiers and things like that. Never, even for a brief minute, felt like I was in any form of danger. And it actually seems extremely easy to use this to take on ground POIs. They don't really put up much of a fight when you got something like this flying overhead with all its turrets blazing. And you're very well protected inside of here, and the ship itself is quite tough as well. So Other than that, it's weird to land. It doesn't do anything else. It doesn't dock anything. It doesn't do farming. Its production is very limited with two small constructors. That is kind of a problem um, because I want to build like 30 mil ammo, which this uses a lot of. And the ship itself isn't capable of building 30 mil ammo because it doesn't have a big enough constructor to do it. The small constructors don't appear to be able to do that ammo. So I'd probably need either a large constructor or an advanced constructor. Um, but that's really it, though, as in what it's supposed to do. I mean, if you load this thing up with ammo, and I'm telling you, whatever you think you need in ammo, double it, because you're firing like, I think it's like 58 30 mil rounds per cycle, which is with cannon turrets is like probably about one every second. So you just shoot through a ton of ammo very, very quickly. But it's effective, and yeah, it's effective if you want to take out ground stuff or space stuff. And if you ever add it in a quantum core, and it's kind of what I want to do in game. I want to give it more CPU, enough CPU so I can replace 20 of these front turrets here in the center column with rocket launchers. And then I think I'd be quite happy. Uh, my only thing, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with the 30 mil cannons. Obviously, they're not as strong or as powerful as rocket launchers, but you don't get that neat explodey effect when you're shooting stuff, like all the missiles flying and the big explosions. The cannon turrets are kind of like, eh, they fire, but you don't get the dramatic effects necessarily. But you do see like the enemy turrets and things explode quite a bit. But yeah. Want explosions. Well, Mike will bay it out. All right. All right. Well, anyway, enough with that. On to the mech here. So this is where the mech was left off. I did respawn it in a different location here. This was used actually with one of the screenshots I took for releasing this. Actually, I think it was about this shot right here, actually, without the Kriel-Interfector of the mech part standing here. All right, so on this one here, I think the next big thing I wanted to do is take a look at one more body issue. Now, when I was talking about joints last time, I was thinking, you got like an ankle heel kind of joint, knee joint, inner leg joints. What it doesn't have right now is block work to make it look like the torso turns. So it looks like it's all like one piece, and this top section might not swivel on the bottom piece. And then I was all like, oh, but then the head needs to turn. But that's actually not true, at least on most mechs, because the head usually turns with the torso. So I don't necessarily need a swivel joint here. I need a swivel joint like here, so this whole upper area would look like it would turn. Now this is purely cosmetic stuff, and obviously it doesn't really turn. But that's kind of where I'm at. So what I wanted to do is blow away some blocks over here to start with and see if I can come up with some kind of block combination to make it look like this is separated from the other parts better than it is right now, of course. So I think half blocks would be a good way to try that. So I'm going to try everything under the book. I'm going to try some of these other blocks here to see if some of these might be able to accomplish the effect I'm looking for one way or another. And what I wanted to do is have kind of like some kind of half block trim around like this section, and then from there try to make some kind of curvy something kind of appear behind that, going down to this pelvis section here. So let's start with that. Actually, maybe I ought to crank on some symmetry while I'm at it here. Let's do that real quick. And I'm not sure how far I should try to put these out. Should I stick it out another row like that? I don't think so. Okay, so let's do that, and let's take a look at some of these odd funky blocks and see if any of these can do anything worthwhile here. I could do that. Let's try it. put a half block here, just a regular half block. And fill this in here. Maybe with one with a little thing on the front of it. And let's see, should we put in another one of these here? Yeah, I don't know, it's getting kind of wide. Could go with something like that, but so if these were gone, put in maybe something like that, and then change the angle again. Okay, so now we got this little lip here, and now you can kind of see through there to the blocks behind it. And this is where I wanted to maybe run some of this square to curved transition blocks. But maybe just a little, maybe a block row in though, so it doesn't look like it's front and center. And I'm going to do something like that. And we can just put a full block here for now. And then maybe maybe just fill these in with more half blocks. Okay, so now it kind of looks like you would have that swivel joint here, which I think is yeah, would make that kind of make it all kind of work together, and then I wouldn't need the swivel joint here. Although I don't mind like the little bit of the neck or this little indentation there. It does separate this piece from that piece, but doesn't necessarily have to have it. No, all right. Okay, so that's kind of sorted out a little bit. Let me just slap in a couple more supporting blocks over here. See if these can line up to the angles that are down there. Might need more transition blocks for this too. Using a lot of these funky transition blocks. But something like that I think would work. And then we'll just kind of square it off there. Yeah, okay. I think that will work. Alright, so another big part of this too is the arms. Now, I was kind of exploring the idea of having it two different arms, like one per side would be different setup. Right now, I'm going to keep symmetry on though. I'm just going to build out one arm, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to get rid of one arm and build a new one for one side or the other. Now, this is currently incorporating its reverse thrusters and on the arms, which are going to be close to weapons. It's probably not the best plan. I'm actually thinking I'd be better served maybe if I would maybe dump some of these thrusters for reverse in the torso section of it. So let me grab some thrusters. I don't think I'd use anything less than the mediums for this build, so I don't even need the small ones. Alright, so how can we make thrusters look alright? I'm not worried about the inside stuff you see right now. All that's kind of temporary. Also, what I like about these thrusters is they're shapeable, so I could do something like that and get like an angle in place. And that kind of keeps it a little bit separated from where the guns are, which I think would be a good thing anyway, if you're actually using this for in-game stuff. I don't know how it's going to perform for that. I mean, obviously, this is more kind of a vanity project. It's for a challenge. Mechs in the game don't typically work very well, I would say. All right, I'm just trying to figure out what blocks I want to put, what kind of angles on top and bottom of the thrusters to dial that into the body better. I kind of like this little angle here, so maybe I'll run a half block here, maybe something like that, or one without the the borders on it. Of course, I like to have the borders when I can because it gives you a little more surface area to texture and allows for a little bit more detail, I think. So I'm going to try using this other funky block here anyway. So that kind of lines up to the top and bottom, and they both kind of sit on the same plane. That works out. Now, what do we do here? And obviously there's a big thruster back there too, kind of sticking out the backside. Should I indent that in a block? I kind of like how it lines up to the other one because you got that same angle there. So maybe I'll leave that. Okay, we'll just leave that how it is. Let's try to find a block that can work in this corner. Oops. So that works pretty nicely. And let's put in the bigger one there so it can just kind of, let's change the angle here and put in this other one. So that bends over to the other part. Now this has to go out another block row so I can kind of conceal that thruster here. Maybe I shouldn't do it the way I am, but let's just see where the angle comes out if I follow the same angle through. I don't think it's going to be big enough though. Yeah, it's not going to be. So what I would need to do is kind of start it from back. So it would have to go out to like basically a full block on that row. And then on this row here, it would probably want this block. And then here it would just probably need a full. And now it's got that little bulgy thing going on over here in this flat row. Well, maybe I can work with that. We'll just keep the flat row intact like that. We'll just call that a body line. And then we'll match that body line kind of coming up the top here, at least to that part of the arm. Alright, and then on the bottom, let's try to angle this out some. Oh, but I don't want to. Oh. See if maybe I should do that. I'll go with that. I'll get rid of this block again, replace it with one that will bevel out to match that angle. And then another one of these. And my thing is, again, trying to get it far enough out so I can put some blocks over this thruster. I think this is going to work now. Something like that. Just put in a full block here for now. Alright. So how about that there? And I guess a lot of the back of this thruster we could just kind of keep open and exposed. I kind of like the looks of the thrusters anyway. So let's put some trim blocks on the side. I think I'll use the same blocks that I used on the back of the miner for the thrusters. Thought that looked actually pretty decent. So you got kind of a block row over them, and then you use this slice corner B2 medium with this cut corner D medium, and then you can kind of get a half block nice row with a beveled edge on it, which works out pretty good for this. Now, I think we're just going to need a couple thin blocks here. And then we want to angle this one back up again. So this one's certainly using a lot of the probably less used blocks, I would say. Actually, this over here, I want to bevel this in a little bit better over here though too. So let me go with this, and then let's do a transition, or basically just like the one I used over there, but without the little lip on the one side here. So that would blend up to the existing block. The only thing I don't like now is this straight like diamond looking angle right there. I prefer it to just be smooth across the edge, matching this angle and not coming out. So let's try that. But I think there's going to be one problem, and that is I've got this beveled edge on this side, and there's no block to transition between the two nicely. Like if I put this here, then you've got that angle there, which kind of stinks. My option, I could replace this block with the one that does not have the angle, and then that will match this, but then I lose that beveled edge here, which I thought looked really good. But I guess in this case, honestly, it doesn't need it, because it just matches the edge of the thruster itself. So probably work out. We can pop in one of those. And over here, I think we're just going to run this straight up at that angle. Take it all the way up for now. And we could fill this in. And this probably doesn't need to come down as much anymore either then. Let's see that and that. So now I almost want it angled on this side too. It's a lot of angles. What could I do there to keep this like flat across there? Or do we even want it flat? That really, I don't know, maybe that's not so bad. Let's just cap it off with some kind of angle though. So I'll put in the other 22.5 blocks here. So you get something like that going on. And that keeps our thruster open on both sides. I don't like what actually I don't like that. Because it's all angled down here, and then I just put those blocks right in its way. Gets a little tricky, Keep on messing with it. Alright, well that's good enough for that. Let's get going on an arm. Now, are the arms sticking out far enough from this? Here, first I'm going to get rid of the thrusters I'm not probably going to use there anymore. I'm going to take this and just kind of plot out an arm a little bit differently right now. And the goal is, let's see. So we got the arms kind of coming down from there. Okay, so this arm will say kind of swoops down. And it is going to need some strafing thrust in the arm, I do believe, unless I can get that into the body too, but not sure if I'll be able to pull that one off. Alright, so guns and things like that. It's basically, I kind of wanted to plan out where the guns are going to go and then start building a frame around the gun. So for now, whether or not it stays this particular gun or not, I'll just use it as a placeholder. I probably would have more than one. So let's say this is the center of the arm here. So let's try to put two of these in place. Maybe like one there, one there. And let's see, probably also want to have some turrets here, I'm guessing. Turrets don't necessarily look right on a Mech, but I think maybe they could be small enough to kind of conceal that a little bit. Oops, wrong key. I grab some turret placeholders here too. I don't particularly like putting turrets right on a gun like this, and maybe that'll change, but I just kind of want to get an idea on what it actually should have here, at least to try to make this work somehow in game. Not really one on the top. Alright, so let's build out some kind of frame around these guns here a little bit. Obviously, I'm not so worried about a frame over the front part of the guns. Just kind of want to make this back part look better somehow. I'm going to use this this wedge with the little lip on the front of it, which I love this block, because you can texture that little lip on the front of it nicely. Put in some texture lights or something that would stand out and look alright. And then in the front here, there's just one block, and there's no like real blocks that fit here well. Maybe I angle it in somehow. Yeah, two angles. Let's just plot some of this out a bit. Okay, so we could also take that. This could be a great spot for a spotlight, actually. Something that probably want anyway somewhere. So maybe you could dump one of those back in there. And okay, so now we want to make this part. Let's say so we got an angled arm here. So I don't know if it should be thicker or thinner. I'm trying to go to a 22.5 angle, which would be kind of like that. But how's that going to work? Alright, so now can we get some beveled blocks over this angle? I think there's a way. I'm not sure if it's going to join up well to the body though, but we'll frog around with it a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of what I thought. We got this big joint gap here. Just follow that right up for now. Okay, so that doesn't work very well. Now, oops, I did that wrong. So now what I'm going to try to do is simulate that angle going the other direction a little bit. So if I did that all the way, it would have to start there. Not sure if I like it or not. Just keep trying with it and see what happens here. Let's put in a pipe here to make it look like there's some kind of connecting arm joint piece here. Maybe for now, like that. I'll turn off these spotlights too. I don't know if I like that or not. Then again, keep in mind though, it could be different on both sides with the arm. So even if this arm doesn't look right, although I want to make it look better than it does, It would be something different on the other side, probably with different weapons too. Maybe it's just big, bulky, full block on the bottom side. Alright, let's try something different here. Huh. Part of the thing is I'm trying to, I guess, fit this turret over here, which doesn't look necessarily correct for a mech anyway. And then I'm trying to make enough area for it to like fit correctly, like a 3x3 block area. I don't know if that's the right idea I should be doing on this or not. Cosmetically speaking, probably no. But turrets are turrets. Alright, well, just wonder if that arm is sticking out too far though. Maybe that's the deal. Maybe it's just this whole thing looks like it's too far out. Like maybe I should just eliminate this and bring it in closer. Let's try that. So let's get out of symmetry. Kind of grab, select this area here. Okay, good enough. And we'll do a cut and a paste. We'll bring that in and up one there. Well, I'm kind of wondering, should it be sideways like that, or could we try to rotate it? Won't line up very nicely with the present arm piece, but could go like that. Maybe down another. Maybe I should even go in another. Kind of funky. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I guess let's unrotate it here. But yeah, when you're building too, I mean, if the more, obviously the more shapely things you build, proportions and everything, it takes a little bit to get stuff right. And this is a good way to like keep on trying to dial in your general shape before you go too far into the build. I do this, I've been learning to do this a lot more often, so rather than if there's something that's bugging you about a shape of something you're building, it's worthwhile to just kind of like, okay, let's just stop, let's just copy and paste chunks around, move it around a little bit, spread it out, put it closer together, whatever you think looks visually better, and then go from there. But I think I'm going to just put it there for now, and we'll paste that in place, remove the selection, get, probably shouldn't even turn on symmetry at this point. Okay, so here's what I don't like. I don't like how that crease is right there. I think the arm was looking too thick. Maybe it shouldn't even be on an angle like it is, but I kind of like it in some ways. Get rid of that. this mech isn't terribly big at all either. So this is actually a pretty small CV. And it's not giving me a lot of block wiggle room either for shaping stuff. God, can I do something different here with this angle though? Or not have that angle, period. What if we try something different? How about like a row of like maybe thin blocks in here going like that? Or some different ones? Or maybe start it thinner. And then make it angle out. So it actually goes to there. Then you can kind of see the pipe in the middle. And maybe get some structural bracing here connected to that on this side. But not too much. It's funky. Yeah, I don't like that though. That doesn't work. Okay, let's replace that with this one with a little lip on it. And then what can we do with this block? It's kind of a half block. What about this funky thing? Well, maybe just make all that skinnier. Or just use a solid block here. Maybe something like that and that. Replace some of those with that. And this front one with something that will line up to it. Maybe like that, or a blunt edge. It's got some complexity there. I just don't know if that's good looking complexity or not. Actually, that was that funky weird block I was using there, so I'll just keep that. Now, one thing I could do though is use one that isn't angled. Whoops, like that, and we could technically just do like a square thing here, or maybe a couple like framing pieces there. That sort of works. Let's see what this looks like painted here a second. You can certainly screw around with these little things for quite a while here before you get it right. Okay, at this point, I'm going to turn on symmetry again, just because I wanted to do something with this area here. And these thrusters here are probably going to move. So let's get rid of those blocks. Let's try to go with this. That will fit there. And angle this. It's almost like this one ought to probably change to match that. That doesn't actually match it. Could match it. Let me take a look at what we've got for weaponry on a CV. It doesn't look like this. Oh yeah, there is. Heavy rocket launchers. Yeah. I think this would be a nice looking asset on a mech. That would actually be part of these rocket pods. Which I'm going to shave this back a little bit first. And I like the idea though of this kind of like square rocket pod thing. And I'm just wondering if they shouldn't come back a little bit, like if I started them about there and just kind of building like a square block of them actually. And then we have to build some kind of enclosure and something that connects it. And now I'm thinking that's a little too high, so let's change that around. Those on the bottom side. Alright, and then these strafing thrusters here, they suck where they are right now. Where else could we dump some thrusters into the body? I think 4 of these is probably not a bad plan. With these little medium thrusters here. But where could we dump them? That would work. I was looking here, but I can't go too deep in because of the other thruster there, so that doesn't work. Got any room in the legs? I think I do have room in the legs. But it would kind of be weird. Oh wait, what did I just do? Oh, there's thrusters back there. But I can't say it doesn't really need those. I've got these big thrusters here, so these are kind of pointless. Doesn't need that many more. So, okay, yeah. Maybe this will work. So let's go with the solid ones. Try to get one there. One here. So that'll give us 4 mediums per side. And then we don't have to have them up on the arms. Okay. Now let's see. So what I want is a thin, like housing around the front of this. How thin, I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm actually going to go with a very square looking design of thin blocks and little corner pieces for it though, for now. So something like this. Now we can put in these little trim pieces there on the edges. Okay, so that's pretty squarish. Now, can we make it look a little neater, spiffier, one way or another? Could take these same trim pieces and kind of bevel it out on the front side here too. It uses a lot of blocks, but it looks really nice and detailed when you're done. Typically, kind of gets rid of that voxel look. So I could do that. Then there's these little tiny little corner pieces that will fit there. Okay, and then attachment. How do these attach to the rest of the mech? So what if we started with an angle like that, and it did an about face, or in other words, decided to absolutely change the angle and come down this direction, or should it even be too wide? Or you know, maybe the deal is, yeah, I don't know, sometimes I almost think that I kind of distorted. I almost liked how it looked before I started messing with it better, even though it was blocking everything, but I've got some proportion issues I think I should be addressed here. Like, I think now these are too far out, the whole rocket thing itself, and I don't like how I'm connecting them either. So, let's get out of symmetry. Zero out the part. One there. Alright, let's cut that, paste it. So in another block row there, or actually maybe even in another one. Oh, looks like I didn't copy the bottom, that's alright. Alright, let's try it there. I didn't like what I was doing there anyway. I almost want to like bevel these out across one side or the other. So here's what I'm thinking about doing now is going to a single one of these thin blocks and doing something like that. And we'll run this on top. And these guys here. I think I like the shape of that better than just a straight square. And we got a easier place to mount them, I would say, too. What if we went with the beveled version of that? Or let's try the thinner approach and put in some kind of... let's try a weird roundy transition block here. Like that. That. building anything like this. So it just, at least with me, it just takes a lot of frogging around to, or you know, just constantly like trying one thing, messing with it, moving something, changing it, until you get to that point, eventually, hopefully, that you're like, yeah, yeah, that looks good. I like that. So I'm trying to find that right now, and I almost kind of want to get a little bit of reference on mechs. Take a look at some from like pictures and games and stuff. I want to get a better idea on what I'm doing with the arm part of this, and if there's any other design cues I could pull from one of those. I'm not trying to build a particular mech of it from any game or show or books or whatever, but I just want to understand exactly what kind of cosmetic effect I'm really trying to accomplish here with the arms. Now I'm just going off from memory. I know I've seen some mechs that have like a droopy arm and a big like gun like more waist level, and then I've seen others that have an arm that might be up this way more, and then I've seen some like this where they got like a shoulder rocket pack or some other weapon setup over there. So yeah, I'm just trying to I want to try to get it right. Um, and doing something like this is tricky and complicated, I would suppose, for building. And I know in like some chat and comments too that I do understand that doing the legs on a mech or legs on most anything are some of the hardest things to do. I found them. I mean, legs I think are one of the hardest things to do myself. Um, I've managed to do it some forms of legs on some other past builds. And the first build was the Manticore EX1 that I tried to do like a legged ship, and it was a nightmare to make those legs. And I mean, even when it was done, I wasn't fully on board with how they looked, but it was the best thing I could come up with. And then right after that, I did the Cerberus PSV, um, but it was easier to do the legs on that one versus the first ship because I had that bit of experience trying to do the legs on the first ship. Um, and now I kind of I just got to break down like in my mind what the legs are and try to view like the joints, and that's where these came from. Like I knew I wanted to join up here. I knew I kind of wanted to angle this top part just for so you didn't have that straight up look. And then I knew I kind of wanted to angle the bottom part down opposite of the top part at probably half the angle, even though I think they're at the same angle. And then I knew I needed to do something like that. So it's basically, yeah, it's tricky. This whole build is a tricky build. It's not that big, but it's complicated in block shaping for sure. Well, yeah, well, I'll get another part. I'm gonna do a little bit of research myself and take a look at some mechs because I'm not entirely pleased with what I did over here, and I think it could be certainly better. Um, um, if I get some visual ideas, I can try to adapt one of those on the next build on this. I'm probably not going to be releasing this for 2 weeks yet, so it'll be released probably the morning of the challenge. Because it's due in 2 weeks or about 2 weeks from today. So that's why I decided I wanted to release this next Saturday or this Saturday, I should say, because it's almost ready. I'm going to do a little bit of cosmetic tweaks to it and try to rev up the interior, make it look a little bit prettier or something. But other than that, it did what it was supposed to do. Yeah, yeah, and I think it will. I think it has a purpose. I mean, I want to lug it around with me in my gameplay because I mean, if you want to go like wreck some POIs on the ground for stuff, that's a great ship to have for it. But yeah, you can also run around in space and shoot stuff too. So it's cheaper because, well, it's kind of cheaper because you could wreck the POI really quickly and you don't have to like whip out the tanks or other things to do it, which typically would take damage on especially like drone bases and tougher POIs, where this would take some damage, but it's really light. And pretty effective at taking those drone bases out and shields and everything else under the sun. It just costs you a lot of ammo. All right. Anyway, I think that's all I'll do for today, and I'll plan on another video here after I get a little more research and try to push these arms forward and come up with better looking stuff. I do worry though that, I mean, when I'm all done with this, one thing I'm looking at is it's going to be really hard to get in it. It's probably going to fly wonky and weird. Although I think it had enough thrust in it where it felt alright to fly it, even though that it's kind of vertical. I'm very much worried about its weaponry. Most of these guns and stuff with CVs, I don't think work on the planet. And this is like supposed to be, you know, I mean, it's a mech. It's supposed to be on a planet walking around. So there's a lot of things that kind of go against each other here. Like the fixed weapons that a mech would typically have don't work. So what do? You know, so it's you know, a lot of little things to work out. Anyway, you all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.